Well, hello everybody. This is Louise Eddington. I'm the Cosmic Owl of Cosmic Owl Astrology. Let me just make sure my volume's up. I um I want to do a video for kind of the week ahead, but looking more today at the Saturn at the Mars Saturn square. Okay, which is just past exact, and so there we can see, well, actually it's about to be exact. It's not, it's about exact as I record this. Because this Mars Saturn square is, well, we've been feeling it for a little while. I do want to talk about how these aspects do not just happen on a day, although today, when it's exact, is very tense. You know, I did my morning post and gave advice not to hammer heads, and what have I done all morning but hammer heads? So anyway, it's kind of funny, really. Oh, but yeah, there we go. So I'm recording this just about an hour before the square is exact. But I do want to show you going forward. Let's go forward weeks. And I will keep pointing to it. So the Saturn-Mars square by in a week's time is still only about 1.5 degrees apart. And then Saturn is slowing down because Saturn's retrograde will come to an end on September the 28th. So anyway, Mars, so here we go. Mars reaches the 28th degree, and so it's still, this is almost at the 26th degree, so it's still less than 2.5 points, 2.5 degrees apart, and Mars stations retrograde and starts heading backwards. And Mars travels faster than Saturn. So even though Saturn is still retrograde, Saturn is slowing down to turn direct, as I said, on September the 28th. So really he's at a standstill. So Mars is approaching Saturn again. And we see now 25 degrees 20, 25 degrees 38. That's on the day that Saturn will station direct. Here, they start to separate. Okay. Mars has gone all the way back beyond. Okay, the second exact square, Mars to Saturn, is on September the 29th. So this whole period, the two never move apart until about October the 12th. Mars is at 21 degrees 28. 4 degrees apart, you'll really start to feel it easing, maybe a little bit before it starts to ease apart. But this is like a real hammerhead. This is like intense, crazy, a square as well, you know. And of course, Mars is conjunct Eris, so we have that chaos, that discord coming in there as well. We have really Saturn still conjunct Pluto for this whole period, right through from today, where we are, August 24th, right through September, right into the first and into the second week of October. This is going to be tense. They will actually meet one more time. So I'll show you that. Mars will eventually turn direct. They will meet by square, Mars and Saturn. So it's, I can't remember the exact date, but you can see Mars is now in Taurus and Saturn has moved into Aquarius. So these first two squares on today and September the 29th, and the period covering this whole time, are the tense times because Saturn is in Capricorn, which it rules. Mars is in Aries, which it rules. Both are horned animals that are the symbol of the signs. Capricorn is the sea goat, but it has horns, and they are head-butting creatures. And the ram is Aries, which is the ram which rams its head. So this is such tense energy, and it's not going away. The good thing is that it is I'm bringing, but and this the third square will also be tense, but less, in a different way. We'll talk more about that nearer the time, because it will be in two different signs, and these planets are both particularly strong in Capricorn and Aries, both being in the signs they rule. Okay, so if you think about Mars in Aries, it wants to go, 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 go. If you think about Saturn in Capricorn, it's steady development. It's like the break, it's boundaries, it's walls, but it's also ambition. This is pushing, pushing, but pushing against each other. So to come back to where we are today, we can also see, though, that it is in a T-square with Hygeia. There's battling over the COVID, over, the plasma thing, and to whether it's right. And of course, it's not a magical cure. It's not been completely tested. I think it's probably pretty safe. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. But the thing is, it was already on it, but people are claiming it's kind of some savior kind of thing now. But from what I understand, it's really hard to create enough to treat a lot of people. It's not this magical kind of like save all. The stock market's gone up on the back of it. The companies of the oligarchy, Amazon and all such like, are doing, their profits are going up like everything because of the pandemic. But underneath it all, we're on the verge of economic collapse, because 22%, I think it is, of companies, of small businesses have closed. Many will not reopen. It's kind of like the polarization is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And, many people go, well, look at the stock market. Well, that's only good if you own stocks. And, a lot of people don't. But anyway, this is really, really tense, guys. I cannot say it enough. And really it's coming into this grand cross that I've talked about. Juno, the rights of the oppressed, everything's really kind of polarized. Global health, then Venus, our values, is going to kind of join in this this tense aspect. But the Mars-Saturn square is really challenging, and especially because Mars is stationing to turn retrograde on September the 9th, and then Saturn is stationing to turn direct on September the 28th. And the period around stations, direct or retrograde, are always really tense in themselves. So we have both of those stations and the square ongoing throughout all this period, adding in the chaos of Eris and the death and transformation of Pluto. I think things are definitely reaching this point of collapse, all right? I haven't even had time to look this morning what's happening with the two hurricanes in the Gulf. In fact, let me go and have a look. I know one of the hurricanes has already caused death in the Caribbean. And Marco's advancing towards the Gulf Coast. Laura is also advancing. I'm not sure whether they're still both. Tropical storm Laura poses an increasing major hurricane danger. Marco advances towards the Gulf. Texas may face not one but two storms. storm surge threats, blah, blah, blah. Add in the fact that we have the moon in Scorpio. I always find the moon in Scorpio is often very flood related, because Scorpio is the deepest of the water signs. It's kind of the surge of power, and it's the surge of internal Kundalini power, but also that snake power that goes up our spine. But it's also the surge of deep emotions, the surge of the deep psyche, but literally surge of water too, and surge of power. And of course, Pluto rules Scorpio, and Mars is the traditional ruler of Scorpio. So this is very scorpionic, very surgy, very powerful. Mars is coming up, and I'm not going to keep moving the chart. I'm just going to point to it's come off an aspect to Venus in Cancer. It's forming this watery grand trine, basically. But it's actually a kite figure, so it's pointing to a lot of water and earth. And that's kind of mudslides, literally and figuratively, and storms, literally and figuratively. All of this is dominating the next few weeks. I can show you kind of how this grand cross is growing. Of course, the moon does move on, but today we've got the watery surge, but then the moon will hit the other watery aspects anyway. This is really huge. Okay, this energy, this couple of days is really tense. I've found it already to be so in the news. You know, we have another shooting in Wisconsin of an unarmed black man right in front of his children as he, I don't know what reports are correct, of course, but he was reported to be checking on his children after stopping a fight between two women. The guy tried to, maybe there's more to it. I don't know, but they're the initial reports. Today as well, we have Eris literally squaring. So I'm going to go back to the point here. Eris is squaring Hygeia, and that's our global health. There's kind of chaos around everything around our global health right now. I don't have to go into details. You've probably heard it all. I've mentioned the plasma thing already, and again, I'm not a scientist. I don't know what's the right treatment, what isn't. It just feels like, the agent of chaos that is the president has thrown this thing in, accusing basically the FDA, the Federal Drug Administration, of politicizing it by not rushing it into action, the convalescent plasma. But who knows? I do not know. It just feels swirly, chaotic, and headbutty. Okay. I've headbutted over various things this morning already. So moving on to tomorrow. Let's just look at the days, and I'm not going to keep getting them exact. But on Tuesday, the moon will move into Sagittarius, 6:48 a.m. Mountain. All my times are Mountain. And that always feels a little bit lighter. But then we reach the first quarter moon, which is the crisis in action. It's a crossroads. It's like, where are we taking action to create the change that we want in the world? These are in mutable signs, which is changeable. This is changing from the old ways into the new. Where are we bringing forward? Mercury starts to emerge out of being combust with the sun, and so our thoughts become a little bit clearer, despite the ongoing chaos, of course. And so that's Tuesday's a big day as well, because we're still under the Mars Saturn everything square, but we start to see where we can be useful, be of service, start to create things. Okay. Also on Tuesday, it's such a week and such a few weeks coming up, I have to say. Venus is going to oppose Jupiter, okay, and these oppositions are going to challenge all our values as Venus opposes all of these in here and joins this T-square with Mars and Eris. All of this is going on, and Juno over here, the rights of the oppressed, women, children, minorities, all kinds of things like that. Also on the higher road, representing our sacred marriage with each other in Libra over there. She's been over there in Libra on her own, apart from Haumea, who's not shown on this, who is the goddess of birth and fertility. She's involved in all of this too. Is saying, please, 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 let's birth this new, more egalitarian, equal society. And everything else is saying, no, 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 we're not going to do that. We are going to stick with the status quo, and nothing is going to fundamentally change. Those words are representative of this tension here, okay? And it just goes on and on. What a week. At the same time, Mars, and I'm going to say Mars exactly sextiles the North Node, and that means and trines the South Node. This is kind of our sideways look. All right. South Node is our karma collectively in the mundane chart, and the North Node is our dharma. This is about learning new ways to doing things, changing our perspectives, going more back to local community, all of those things. And this is kind of our outlet to all of this tension, okay, as all of this takes this sideways glance to the nodes. That is where our focus should be, all right. On Wednesday, to go ahead, the moon still in Sagittarius, which luckily is a little bit lighter. Okay, so, and you know, it's because of the where everything is in the charts, in the whole mundane chart. The moon actually, while it's in Sagittarius, makes generally quite more easeful or aspects of opportunity. So things get a little bit lighter. But on Wednesday as well, Mercury really has broken free by then. And trine starts to aspect all of this. We start thinking, planning, analyzing really where we can make changes to serve others, to be of use in this changing time. Mercury has been, our mind has been a little bit confused for a while being in the heart of it, in combusting the sun, apart from last Monday with the Kazemi. But generally, our mind have been fuddled, communication's been fuddled. It's been very confusing, to be quite honest. But we can see that Mercury is actually forming this fixed, sorry. No, that's not right. This Earth, yes, this earthy grand trine. So there is creative potential in all of this. I want to give you the good news as well. Earth energy is building. Earth energy is making things solid. It's manifestation. It's making real. There is real opportunity underneath all this if you choose, because it is a grand trine can be easily missed. There is the opportunity to ignore the chaos, to stay out of the fray, and to focus on building and creating. Okay. On Thursday, the moon goes into Capricorn. It will be in Capricorn a little bit there. And Venus actually trines Neptune. Now, I find the Venus-Neptune trine significant because not only is Venus starting to join in all of this, Venus retrograde in Gemini, which was from March. sorry, May the 13th to, was it May? March the 13th to June 25th, I think. No, it was a bit longer than that. Anyway, recently was involved in a square. The station's retrograde and was square to Neptune, and Venus squared Neptune in Pisces 3 times from Gemini because of her retrograde. Once just before she stationed retrograde, once just after, and then again when she was leaving the shadow. And then Venus is aspecting Neptune now, saying just release anything that stops you from stepping into your core values. Just let them go. Release hanging on to old ideas and old values that do not work any longer. Okay. On Friday, somebody else has come on trying to vote shame me. Pluto, because I woke up a little mad today at a few things. On Pluto squares Juno over here, and this is starting to really grow stronger. You can see the thick lines are getting thicker in this grand square or grand cross. That is going to cause major tensions. If you think of the makeup of a grand cross and a grand square, it's 4 squares or 2 oppositions, and both those are tense aspects, and it's kind of going round in circles and pushing against each other and battling. And the key to integration, to working with the grand cross, is this integration here. And as Pluto squares Juno, things really start to get even hotter, as if they haven't already. The tensions get higher. You know, we see it with this murder of a black man. I think there's going to be more protests, more trouble, more riots, things like that, more all that kind of thing. Also on Friday, the Sun opposes Ceres. I think that is going to be a time of a huge grief. I think Ceres is bringing Ceres in Pisces. Now, Ceres is how we nurture ourselves and how we love ourselves, and it's feeling the pain of collective in Pisces, and retrograde in Pisces is like mass loss, mass grief, mass forgiveness as well, though. You know, she's really looking back at kind of what we've lost with this chaos and this time of the pandemic and the political crises that we're going through. It's really huge. So there's all of this, and incidentally, I'll have to look at the date, but there's even, you know, talk in the UK of having to airlift in food to places if COVID gets worse while Brexit happens, because of nothing travelling across into the UK from mainland Europe, and about having to airlift meds and food into the Channel Islands and things. Things are really kind of getting a bit and some people are going, it's all going to be okay if we vote Biden. Not saying I won't, but it's not going to solve a thing, to be quite honest. Saturday, the moon will move into Aquarius at some point after really a very bumpy Friday and into Saturday, as it crosses over all this and square and joins in this square. But let's just talk about what we have on Saturday. Saturday, Saturn will oppose Hygeia. I think there's going to be some really hard news that's going to be really exact around the pandemic. Venus opposes Pluto exactly on Sunday. Let's go into Sunday. Venus will oppose Pluto. You can just see how how intense this square is in this last week of August. It's crazy. Chiron will trine Vesta. We're hardly going to notice that in the middle of things, unfortunately. I think there was just a cat fight going on in my house. I'm looking what we've got on Sunday. I'm going to talk about the last square that's on Monday morning before the next week, before I upload this video. And I won't be doing these forecasts every week. I just feel like this is a horrible week. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about why in a minute. Early on Monday, Venus squares Juno. So basically, overall, we are going through a series of squares, oppositions, tense aspects that are going to cause intense infighting this this whole week into next Monday and into September. But this whole week is particularly tense because you can see the strength of these red lines. You can see that Mars is stationing retrograde. He is activating a lot of this with his angry, aggressive kind of I want change now energy as well. This is just such a tough time. Mercury is going to move up and start aspecting some of these players. The key areas of the chart really are around mainly all the last decan and of the signs. That's 20 degrees to 29 degrees, okay? The last degree is the 29th degree. If you have anything between those, of the last decan, or particularly of Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn, this week's going to be very tense for you. But because there's aspects to the nodes from all this too. Mercury starts to join the fun, and Neptune's somewhat involved as well. The mutable signs are also really hit. But basically, by aspect, anything in the last decan of these signs will be affected. So we're all going to be affected in some way. Some more than others. Some it's really really massive, really huge, massive change, massive tension. You might find yourself getting involved in fights, in arguments. You might find yourself coming up against blocks and brick walls stopping you doing what you want to do. My best advice is to stay out of the fray, to stay in your lane, to keep asking questions, to keep on just remaining open, be the North Node in Gemini, to focus on what you can do locally in your community rather than ask yourself, can I really make a difference here? That's the question, I think, as well. Because, can you really make a difference by fighting about what's going on about the pandemic and about the politics and things like that? Can you make a difference in this moment? I'm not talking about your vote in the long term or any of that. I'm talking about this is a week to stay in the moment, all right? And to really focus on opening your mind, opening your ears, being open to possibilities, to letting go of some old rigid beliefs, and to really kind of upgrading your identity and seeing how you can shake up, how you can do things to live by your core values, to help to bring a better society, if you like, or a better world, and to let go of the old shoulds as well. All right, what a week. So please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I should have said this at the beginning. Share the video if you like it. Leave me a comment. Try and have a good week. Just stay in your lane. Think what you can do. Think of possibilities. Look, take it step by step, day by day, and try and stay out of the Facebook fights. Note to self. One was with some Norwegian guy who really goes down the whole QAnon conspiracy. I don't know why I tried. I honestly don't. But anyway. All right, loves. Thanks for listening, and please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel.